What happens when country music's golden boy collides with daytime television's powerhouse? What was supposed to be a smooth promotional interview spiraled into one of the most uncomfortable television moments of the era. Confrontation. So raw, it ended with Bryan walking off set. The moment began, innocently enough. Jennifer Hudson leaned back in her trademark chair, her signature smile lighting up the stage as studio lights bathed everything in polished warmth. The audience buzzed with excitement, phones raised, ready to capture every second of the superstar's appearance. Please welcome the one and only Bryan, Jennifer announced, her voice full of practiced enthusiasm. The crowd erupted as Luke strode confidently onto the stage, guitar pick dangling from his necklace, charm in full display. But from the instant he sat down, something was off. His smile looked forced, his posture too rigid, his fingers tapping his knee with a rhythm that betrayed unease. "Luke, it's so great to have you here," Jennifer began, glowing with her usual media-trained warmth. "Your new album is getting incredible reviews. Fans are absolutely loving it." "Yeah, thanks for having me," Luke replied, his voice flat, his fingers still tapping. "It's been a long time coming. Lot of heart and soul went into this one." But then Jennifer glanced at her notes, her tone shifting almost imperceptibly. "Luke, I've followed your career for years, and it's been incredible to watch. But I do have to ask about something making headlines lately." Luke's entire demeanor changed. His jaw tightened. The tapping stopped. The audience felt it too, the air growing heavier, quieter. "What exactly are you referring to?" Luke asked, his voice edged with caution. Jennifer's smile held, but her eyes sharpened. "There have been conversations about diversity in country music, and your name has come up more than once." Luke let out a humorless laugh. "Interesting conversations. That's one way to put it." Jennifer leaned in, tone still friendly, but firm. "You've thrived in a genre that hasn't always been welcoming to artists who look like me. Don't you think that's worth addressing?" Luke's accent thickened as he shifted forward. "Jennifer, let's be real careful here. I came to talk about music, my new album, my fans, not politics." "This isn't politics," Jennifer countered smoothly. "It's reality. And with the platform you have, don't you think responsibility comes with it?" The studio fell silent. Even the cameras seemed to lean closer. Luke dragged a hand through his hair, visibly agitated. "Look, I've never claimed to be an activist. I make music. That's all I've ever done. That's what I'll keep doing. But when you're one of the biggest names in the industry," Jennifer pressed, voice steady, "you can't just separate yourself from the conversations that define it, especially when those conversations involve artists who don't get the same opportunities you've had." Luke's composure cracked. "Are you saying I haven't earned what I've got? That my success is illegitimate?" Jennifer raised a calming hand. "I'm not suggesting that. I'm saying country music has a complicated history with inclusion, and ignoring it doesn't make it go away." Luke shook his head, voice rising. "Complicated. You know what's complicated? Coming on a show, thinking I'll talk about music, and instead getting ambushed with accusations." The word ambushed hung in the air like a slap. Jennifer's polished smile faltered for the first time. "Luke, asking about the industry isn't an ambush. It's journalism." Luke shot to his feet, then hesitated, lowering himself back down. The internal war was written across his face. "Journalism. Feels more like you lured me here under false pretenses." "The only pretense," Jennifer fired back, her own patience thinning, "was that you'd sit here and have an honest conversation." Luke's voice rose, raw and defensive. Honestly, I'm sick of being painted as the villain. I've never blocked anyone's career, never disrespected another artist no matter who they are." Jennifer leaned closer, eyes locked on his. "But have you helped? Have you ever used your platform to elevate voices that would otherwise go unheard?" "That's not my job," Luke snapped, the words sharp, final. "My job is music. My job is being authentic to who I am. I can't fix the industry's problems." The silence that followed was suffocating. Every crew member, every audience member, froze knowing this moment would echo far beyond the studio walls. Jennifer's voice, low and deliberate, broke through. "Luke, no one's asking you to fix every problem. But when you're in a position of privilege, doesn't that come with some responsibility?" Luke laughed bitterly, no trace of charm left. "Privilege. Let me tell you about privilege. Growing up on a peanut farm in Georgia, working every day after school, watching my parents scrape by, sleeping in my truck, eating gas station food, while chasing this dream, that's my story." Jennifer held his gaze. "I'm not diminishing your struggles. They're real, but they don't erase the fact that this industry has favored people who look like you. That's part of the truth, too." Luke jabbed a finger toward her, his voice sharp as a blade. "There it is. That's what this is really about. Not my music, not my journey. Just the color of my skin, reducing everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed down to something I never had control over." Luke's voice cracked with anger, the edge sharp enough to cut through the silence in the studio. Jennifer's composure wavered, but she didn't back down. "Luke, that's not what I'm saying, and you know it. I'm saying we can honor your hard work and talent while also admitting the truth. That the industry you thrived in hasn't been the same for everyone. Others have faced barriers you never had to. Luke leaned forward, his frustration finally boiling over. And what do you want me to do about that? You want me to apologize for being successful, step aside and give up my spot? What exactly do you think I should be doing differently? The words hung in the air like thunder, carrying the weight of decades of industry conflict that had always been whispered behind closed doors, now laid bare under the hot studio lights. Jennifer inhaled slowly, steadying herself. I want you to acknowledge it, Luke, that's all. Acknowledge that these issues exist, and recognize that with your platform, you could be part of the solution. Luke's southern drawl deepened as his voice grew louder, emotion spilling out. The solution? To what, Jennifer? That country music has its own audience. That different genres appeal to different people. What exactly is the so-called problem I'm supposed to fix? Jennifer's voice rose to meet his. The problem is that talented artists are being overlooked, shut out, because they don't fit the image this industry demands. That's not taste, Luke. That's exclusion. That was the breaking point. Luke shot up from his chair, this time with no hesitation. You know what, Jennifer? I think we're done. I came here to talk about my music, to give fans a little joy, not to be cornered, not to be made to feel guilty just because I've succeeded. No one's asking you to feel guilty, Jennifer replied firmly, rising to her feet as well. Her voice carried not just frustration now, but disappointment. We're asking you to care. We're asking you to use your influence to make things better. Better for who? Luke snapped back. His voice cut through the silence like a whip, because from where I'm standing, your idea of better means turning people like me into the problem. It means treating my success like it's something to apologize for, instead of the result of years of hard work and sacrifice. The studio vibrated with tension. Every camera locked in, every audience member frozen in place, sensing they were witnessing a career-defining moment. Jennifer's eyes burned, her patience thinning. Luke, you're twisting my words. Nobody said you are the problem. But refusing to even engage with these issues, that's part of it. That's silence. That's complicity. I'm not refusing anything. Luke exploded, his hands cutting through the air. What I'm saying is, I shouldn't be forced to carry the weight of every social debate just because I happen to be successful in country music. I'm an entertainer, not a politician. Jennifer's tone sharpened, her voice deliberate and unshaken. But you are influential, Luke. Whether you like it or not, millions listen when you speak. That's power. That's responsibility. Jennifer stepped closer, her voice low but burning with intensity. Whether you want that responsibility or not, Luke, you have it. Your words matter. Your actions matter. Even your silence matters. Luke's face was flushed, his polished, public charm gone. My silence? What about my music? What about the joy I bring to millions of people? What about the millions I've donated, the disaster relief I've supported, the causes I've stood behind? Why doesn't any of that count? It does count, Jennifer began, but Luke cut her off, his voice cracking with frustration. Does it? Because right now, it sure doesn't feel like it. It feels like none of it matters unless I say the exact words you want me to about issues I never signed up to carry. Jennifer's own mask slipped, her professionalism giving way to raw passion. Luke, when you have the kind of influence you do, everything becomes your responsibility. That's the price of success in this business. Luke snapped, his voice sharp as broken glass. That's ridiculous. I didn't sign up to be anyone's spokesman or the face of some cause. I signed up to sing songs, to make people happy. That should be enough, should be enough. Jennifer's voice rang with disbelief. There are artists out there brilliant, world-class artists who can't even get a foot in the door, because they don't fit some outdated idea of what country music should look like. And you think just making people happy is enough. Luke threw his hands up. There it is. You're making it sound like my success is the reason they don't have theirs. Like me being here somehow robs them of a chance. In some ways, it does, Jennifer said bluntly. The words hit the studio like a punch to the gut. The audience gasped, phones shot into the air, and the camera operators leaned forward, hungry for every frame. Luke froze, staring at her, face shifting through shock, anger, hurt, and finally, something close to betrayal. Wow, Jennifer. So now my success is the problem. Now, the years I spent clawing my way up, the music I've poured my soul into, all of it, is hurting. People, that's not what I said. Jennifer tried, but Luke was already past listening. No, that's exactly what you said. You just told me that everything I've worked for, every song, every show, every connection with my fans means I'm standing in someone else's way. Jennifer raised a hand. Luke, if you just listen. His voice broke into a near shout. I have been listening. I've been sitting here while you tear apart my character, my career, my entire life's work, all because I won't say the magic words you want me to. All because I won't pretend to be an expert on issues I never claimed to understand. No one's tearing apart your career, Jennifer shot back, her voice climbing. But you can't ignore reality. Luke, you can't pretend systemic issues don't exist just because they haven't touched you personally. Systemic issues. Luke laughed bitterly, shaking his head. You know what feels systemic? Having to defend your whole life's work because you won't play politics. Being told your success is illegitimate or harmful just because others haven't had the same opportunities. Luke, that's not no. Jennifer. His voice dropped to a deadly quiet that carried more weight than his shouting. I'm done. Done with this interview. Done with pretending this is normal. He stood, his chair scraping hard against the studio floor as he moved toward the edge of the set. Luke, wait, Jennifer called after him, her voice cracking, with urgency, genuine concern, breaking through for the first time. We can talk this through. We can have a real conversation. Luke turned back, his eyes a storm of anger and disappointment. A real conversation. This wasn't a conversation. This was an interrogation. You decided what I should think, what I should say, what I should feel guilty for, and when I didn't fall in line. You came at me. I never attacked you. Jennifer protested, but the conviction in her voice was fading. You told me, my success takes away from others. Luke said, his voice low, controlled, and devastating. You questioned whether I deserve what I've built. You made it clear that unless I become an activist for your causes, nothing I've done matters. If that's not an attack, then I don't know what is. The studio was silent, stunned, crew, frozen. Cameras humming as they captured every second of what was quickly becoming television history. Jennifer stepped toward him, hands lifted in a half-plea. Luke, I never meant to suggest you don't deserve your success, but you did. Luke replied, his voice heavy with exhaustion. Maybe you didn't mean to say it outright, but that's exactly what came across. And the worst part is, Jennifer, I thought you'd understand. I thought you, of all people, would know what it's like to have your achievements questioned, to have people say your success came from something other than talent and hard work. The words hit her harder than any shout could. For the first time all night, Jennifer's polished confidence faltered into silence. Asterisk for the first time. Jennifer's composure cracked completely. Luke, that's exactly why I'm asking these questions, because I do know what it's like. I know what it's like to have doors slammed in my face, to have my abilities questioned, to fight twice as hard for half the recognition. Then, why? Luke shot back, his voice raw. Are you doing the same thing to me? Why are you questioning my achievements, my character, my right to be where I am? Because you have the power to open doors for others. Jennifer pressed, her passion pushing past professionalism. Because your voice could change things for artists still facing those barriers, the same ones I faced. Luke laughed bitterly. So now, because I've been successful, I'm supposed to become a spokesperson for every cause, every injustice, every problem in this industry. That's not fair, Jennifer. That's not reasonable. What's not fair? Jennifer's voice rose, sharp with conviction, is watching talented artists get shut out of a genre they love because they don't fit some narrow idea of what country music should be. What's not fair is radio gatekeepers deciding who belongs and who doesn't. And what exactly do you think I can do about that? Luke demanded. Do you think I run radio? Do you think I decide playlists? You could speak up, Jennifer insisted, her voice cracking with urgency. You could use your influence, your platform, your relationships to demand change. At what cost? Luke's frustration boiled over. At the cost of my career, of alienating my fans. At the cost of becoming a political figure when all I ever wanted to be was an entertainer. Why should I have to sacrifice everything I've built for battles I never signed up for? The question hung heavy. For a moment, the studio was silent, except for the hum of cameras, because it's the right thing to do. Jennifer said at last, quiet but unyielding. Luke stared at her, his anger softening into something sad. According to who? You people who think success automatically means obligation. People who only approve of me if I use my platform their way. According to basic human decency, Jennifer answered. But Luke shook his head slowly. No. Basic decency is treating people with respect, which I've always done. It's giving back, which I have done. But basic decency is not attacking someone for choosing to focus on their art instead of politics. And it's not ambushing them with accusations on national television. He started walking toward the exit. His voice carried the weight of finality. I came here to talk about my music, about something that brings people joy. Instead, I got told that everything I've built is tainted. That's not a conversation, that's an interrogation. Luke, please, Jennifer called after him, her voice breaking now. Don't leave like this. We can still find common ground. He turned back one last time, his eyes burning with equal parts frustration and disappointment. The problem, Jennifer, is that you don't want dialogue. You want compliance. You want me to say the words you've already decided I should say. That's not dialogue, that's indoctrination. And you're so focused on what you think I should be doing, you've completely ignored what I am doing. My music has carried people through divorces, through loss, through pain. My shows bring families together, create memories that last, that matters, that has value. and I will not apologize for it just because it doesn't fit your agenda. Jennifer opened her mouth to respond, but Luke raised a hand to stop her. I'm done being made to feel guilty for my success. I'm done being told my art isn't enough unless I become something I never wanted to be. And with that, Bryan walked off set, leaving Jennifer Hudson standing alone under the harsh studio lights, facing an audience stunned into silence. The cameras kept rolling, capturing what would become one of the most explosive interviews in recent memory, a confrontation that exposed deep divisions over success, responsibility, and the role of artists in driving social change. It left one burning question. Should artists be obligated to use their platforms for social causes, or should they have the right to focus solely on their art?